The La Perla Habana 1515 500 year by AJ Fernandez in Robusto. Stay tuned. Welcome to Cigar Perspective. I am David once again, and today we are taking a look at the La Perla Habana 1515 500 year by AJ Fernandez. This cigar, it's in Robusto, and it comes with the cedar sleeve on it, so it'll be interesting to see once we take the sleeve off what it looks like underneath. It does have a Ecuador Habano wrapper, a Sumatra binder, and Cuban seed Nicaraguan long fillers. And the price point on this cigar is around $5.75 to about $7.99 depending on where you get it, or if you do get it in a 5-pack. So let's get it cut up, introduce the flame, and see how this cigar develops for us today. Go ahead and take the sleeve off here. Looking pretty nice actually without the sleeve on it. Go ahead and cut it up. Very open draw right off the bat. Slight tobacco sweetness right in the beginning. Definitely some spice. It's almost like it's not pepper, maybe like a red pepper spice. It's kind of warm on the palate with that very open draw and that natural tobacco sweetness coming right away. Almost like a gritty earth, and there's wood, but I'm liking how open the draw is. Lots of thick smoke coming off. The aroma beforehand also, it was a leather, earthy, coffee sort of aroma, that it did have a real nice aroma coming off of it in the beginning. But this cigar actually was created by blended by AJ Fernandez in celebration of the 500th anniversary of Havana, Cuba. So I'm really thinking this is going to be a great cigar. Definitely medium body right off the bat. Still nice thick smoke. Got that wood still. That gritty earth is still there. Definitely still some natural tobacco sweetness, and that pepper, that red pepper kick is still there as well on the finish. So today I want to talk about stomach erosion and some things, how to manage it, how it happens, and just kind of help people to understand it. And if you need some information or some help on it, maybe this video can help you. So I got stomach erosion around 2016. When I was younger, I had issues with opioids, and I used to take time release pills and cook them down, and basically eat them. And that gets you high just like a normal regular release pill would. It's just the way we figured out how to make it release quicker. But by doing that, I gave myself stomach erosion pretty extreme, and by the time I went to get medically checked out, I was pretty far along. I wasn't able to digest food. I couldn't eat much. I would puke pretty much everything I ate up. I couldn't eat meat. And when I finally got to the point to where I was living on basically pureed food for a probably almost a year of eating just like fish and a lot of pureed fruits and veggies. Most of my meals would just be pureed down so that my stomach could at least attempt to absorb the nutrients and digest it. I mean, there was times when I would eat and throw up and you couldn't even tell that I had ate it. It looked like I had just chewed the food. It didn't look like it was getting digested whatsoever. And it would be a little bit later that I would puke, so that's why I was so concerned. And you know, stomach erosion, unfortunately, if you don't catch it early, it takes a very long time to heal, and there's no real solid cure for it. Like, I was better for almost 2 years, and now I'm going through it again because I started getting better, felt really good, and then you just kind of get on a bad diet again, you start slipping eating candy or whatever, get away from the fruits and all the good stuff, and next thing you know, you're feeling bad, you're puking again, you got pain. So with your stomach, you really, really, really have to find a way to stick with a solid diet, stay with a good regimen even once you're feeling good, because it's such a long-term process. And really the only way that I found to heal is to change your diet and remove stress. If you can do those two things, you'll be able to heal stomach erosion. It's also erosive gastritis. You may have noticed it by that. I've heard of it by that as well. It's basically caused by damage to the mucosal defenses. Your stomach lining, it becomes inflamed and it starts to lose protective cells. So that's going to create a lot of issues with your digestive, like the acid in your stomach. You got to reduce the acid somehow. I have my gallbladder out when I was 15, so that also makes a difference with digestion, and I feel that's been a major factor in what I've gone through in my stomach issues as well. But the sooner you notice that you're having problems with your stomach and pains and things and go get it checked out, I ended up having to see 3 specialists before I could really get answers. And at the time I went, they didn't have even a prescription they could give me. I mean, the 3rd specialist kind of pulled me aside and was like, listen, if you were my kid, this is what I would tell you to do. And his advice was to remove stress, change my diet, and just heal. They had some sort of trial thing from Europe or something, but they couldn't do it here. So for a year and 3 months, I stopped going to college. I did everything I could to remove the stress from my life and just heal, changing my diet. And I was lucky that I was able to, because I mean, for a long time I would puke multiple times a day, couldn't eat food. I mean, it was an absolute disaster going through that, and I feel for anybody who has it, and that's why I'm here making this video, because I really want to help anybody who's going through stomach erosion, because I know how painful and brutal, and I feel like I have a lot of insight on how to manage symptoms and help people get through it when it's escalating really bad if you made the wrong choices. So with stomach erosion, you're gonna notice you're probably gonna have vomiting, you're gonna have pain, you're gonna have fatigue because you have lack of absorption of nutrients, lack of digestion. Your body is not functioning at a healthy level, so you may feel weak, fatigued, no energy. It's all part of it, so it's another thing with figuring out the best things to eat and get in your body, but we'll cover that in a little bit here. So it can also cause bleeding in your stomach, which is another reason why you really want to be sure that you're doing the right things to reduce as much symptoms as possible. You don't want to have bleeding in your stomach. the pain and the vomiting and all can be reduced greatly by doing the right things. So real quick, the cigar, it's still very open. The natural tobacco sweetness is still there. It's great. It's working with this blend very, very, very well. There's still wood and earth, but the earth isn't gritty anymore. It's just like your typical earth flavor, no grit or anything. The wood is there. It's slightly creamy, not much. There is a little cream kind of settling in. The pepper is gone. There's no more of that red pepper's gone. Now it's more of the natural sweetness and wood and slightly creamy going in. Looks like we're just about to the first third here. This is the Robusto. So a lot of the research and things that I've learned through this, I've had to do on my own and do things through trial and error. Like I said, back in, it was 2016 when I was diagnosed, and there just wasn't much that they could offer, unfortunately. Even after seeing a third specialist, they just didn't. There wasn't much they could do. So you just have to find a way to get better on your own or live through pain every day. If you don't make a change, then you can't get better at all. You know, and it was lucky for me that I had discovered cigars not long before, and I had been going for walks and exercising, and the cigars actually got me out to go for walks and have cigars, and I started going for longer walks, and because of the exercise and doing the right things, I healed probably faster than a lot of people will. So I'm thankful that sometimes things play out the way they do, because you think, you know, even a cigar, it may not sound like the greatest thing to pick up during that, but if you smoke a light cigar and you're not inhaling, the cigar will actually work to get your blood moving as well. It's a stimulant type of thing, and if you're going for walks and moving around during that time, that's a great opportunity to feel better and get your blood moving around your body, get your circulation going, rather than just laying around and feeling miserable or whatever, you know, whatever it may be. So the burn's looking good, very slightly off, no need to touch it up. I think it's going to catch up on its own, no problems there, going in just at the first third here. So you want to make sure that you're eating light meals. Your stomach can't handle heavy things if you have stomach erosion. You have to make sure you're doing things that so you can digest. You know, you want to make your portion sizes smaller. You're going to want to eat less, a lot more liquids. Make sure that you're doing vitamins and supplements, things of that nature. So what I'm going to do is take a little break. I'm going to get it right around the halfway point, see how it develops to there, come back, and then I'm going to discuss the foods and supplements and things of that nature that you want to add in and change to, and also the ones that you definitely want to avoid to feel better. So be back is around the halfway point. Welcome back. We are at the halfway point. The cigar is developing very nicely. The natural sweetness is starting to fade out a little bit. It's a lot more woody. The earth is faded out. Now there's a leather. It's very little bit of natural sweetness, very little subtle. Mostly wood and leather at this point. Very slight pepper. The cream is no longer in there. That was very subtle for just a few moments through that first little third there that came in. But right now, a lot of wood and leather is what's coming through right here at the halfway point. Still a lot of smoke, open draw, Very good burn, nice ash on it, no problems getting down here though, halfway. So the first thing I want to discuss is foods that you want to switch to and that you're going to want to add to your diet. So you want to start with seafood and fish, very important because they burn clean, not very fatty, they're great foods to add if you have stomach erosion. Try to add, you know, lobsters and crab, salmon, and your fish, basic fish. You're going to get your better fats from that stuff. So definitely do that. And when you're cooking, don't use bad oils. Use coconut oil for your cooking. I found that that is one thing you can do that doesn't hurt your stomach after you eat it. A lot of the other oils, soybean oils, canola oils, all that stuff, even olive oils, you start trying to use those things and it just, for some reason, it does not work with having the stomach erosion. So that's definitely, you want to go with the coconut oil. Next, you want to make sure that you're doing fruits and veggies, and you want to go for low acidic. The only thing that I would do as far as an exception is you can take a small amount of fresh lemon, put it in water, and drink that. It does have an alkalizing effect, but that's the only thing that I would do as far as acidic. And you know, if you want to put maybe half an orange in a big pureed smoothie, that's okay, because it's gonna be diluted much more. But if you're just eating high acidic fruits alone, that's not gonna be your best route to go. So, and the next thing is you want to puree a lot of your stuff. If you have stomach erosion, you're not digesting food very well, most likely. You're not absorbing nutrients. So the best thing that you can do is learn how to put foods that you like together to create smoothies with fruits and veggies. You can add different supplements, you can add things, anything you want to puree it down, break it up before you drink it, so that once it's in your stomach, it's liquid broken down, and now your stomach can absorb it much better, because you don't have to break it down. It's pre-broken down, and you're helping yourself to get more nutrients. It's going to help with the fatigue, it's going to help with stomach pain, and you want to make sure not to overdo it with the fruits. You want to have just enough fruit to where it's flavorful, maybe a little sweet, but have more veggies, because sugar is one of your biggest enemies if you have stomach erosion. So another thing that I highly suggest is finding green drinks that you like. Finding wheatgrass, super greens, matcha. Find green drinks. I mix all three together. When I make green drinks for my stomach erosion, this is wheatgrass, hemp super greens, and matcha with CBD, oat milk, and slippery elm extract. That is and a little bit of vanilla, just a really little bit of vanilla, trying to keep the sugars to a minimum. That's my go-to drink for my mornings. I don't drink coffee, nothing like that. Anything that's gonna hurt my stomach, I stay far away from it, because it's only gonna cause you pain throughout the day. You want to put good in and heal. You need to heal. You want to remove your stress and do the right things, because you got to focus on healing. If you do the wrong things, you're never going to heal. It took me 2 years to heal, and I was making almost all the right choices. I cut out so many things and was doing things the right way, and still, with stomach erosion, you really injure yourself. You know, a lot of people may heal in, you know, a few months, few weeks, maybe a year, but I had it to a level where it took me 2 years to heal. But I was vomiting every day multiple times and very sick for a year and a half too, before I even went to the doctor. Like, I pushed it. So you don't want to do that. You want to, when you have symptoms, if you feel something's wrong, go find out right away. Taking the band off here, start to get down there. But go find out right away. Don't wait until it's too late or it's going to be longer or some other problems have arisen because you pushed it for so long, like I did with my stomach erosion. I blamed it more on symptoms of other things that were going on. I didn't associate that it could be something with my stomach until down the line, when every time I would eat, I would just puke and throw up. I could not keep food down. There's nothing I could do. So another thing is hydration. You want to stay very hydrated. You want your body to be as lubricated as possible. Like, don't dry yourself out and become dehydrated, because that will also cause inflammation and pain throughout your body. Water, as much water as you can handle. Make sure that you're drinking water, and try to stay away from dairy stuff. Like, as far as the milks go for oat milk, go for almond milk, go for coconut milk. Try to stay away from cheese and, you know, regular milks, things like that, because that really isn't gonna help you. Don't, and you know, use organic honey or maybe like vanilla. You want to get away from sugar. Stop using sugars and stuff to sweeten things. Find a better way through like the organic honeys or vanilla bean. You could even, I would even suggest you could maybe get some lavender extract. That actually works great for adding flavor and sweetening things a little bit if you like that kind of stuff. So there's an array of things that you can do, and you don't have to get bored with food just because you don't feel good. I struggled with that for a little bit. I was getting frustrated because I felt like all I could do was throw stuff in a Ninja, blend it up, and just drink it all day. That's all, you know, it's just everything. Just throw it together. It's going to taste fine. Add a little fruit, sweeten it up with a little fruit, throw whatever you want in there. I mean, I was putting everything from like carrot top greens, everything I could think of that I thought might help or give me nutrients or the right things, putting supplements, all kinds of stuff. And I suggest slippery elm extract. I'm hoping that you guys can see this pretty good if I hold it up, but it's Nature's Resources slippery elm extract. It's $30 a bottle. But this right here, I think, was a big lifesaver for me. When I had my worst pain and my worst problems, I would take a spoonful of this and I would feel so much better within, you know, an hour or two. You're still going to go through some pain, but this is a healer. This will solve a lot of the pain in a much quicker time than just doing it with nothing. I add this to all of my green drinks. I add this to my smoothies. I take this very often. I am a firm believer that if you have a stomach problem and you're having pain and things, that slippery elm extract will definitely change how you're feeling. It definitely will. Whoop, I was trying to keep that ash on there and it just fell off on me. That's funny. I thought it was gonna last. It was doing so well there, but it didn't quite make it. So we are around the band. What's nice is the natural sweetness is actually starting to pick back up again. This cigar is very enjoyable. They did a great job. La Perla did amazing with this, with AJ Fernandez, and they did it for the 500-year anniversary of the founding of Havana, Cuba, and they commemorated it with a very good cigar. I mean, I suggest this cigar. I actually suggest this cigar more to seasoned smokers, but I think a beginner, new smoker could definitely enjoy it too because of the natural sweetness in the tobacco. But I think with some of the notes, like, you know, the woods and leathers hit you, but when that subtle cream came in there and that little bit of gritty earth that comes in there, and there's some more, I feel like there's like a complexity with this that a seasoned smoker may appreciate more, but also a new smoker could have some fun learning with this cigar. And because of the natural sweetness, I think that a new smoker potentially would enjoy it, just picking up on the natural sweetness with a little bit of wood and leather that goes in there, even if they're not picking up on some of the complexity of what's going on with the cigar. You know, because there's definitely some subtle, like a subtle nuttiness, and you know, early on there was that red pepper. Right now there's a subtle nuttiness that's coming through, but I just can't get over that natural sweetness that was in the beginning and then disappeared and now coming back towards the end. Like, that's really creating a very nice feel on the palate, nice flavor with this wood. But I'm going to go ahead and take 5, get down to the final third. We're going to come back, talk about some things to avoid, finish the cigar. Alright, welcome back to the final third of this La Perla Habana 1515. So the natural sweetness from the halfway point to here, the final third, it is gone now. At this final third, it's a lot of wood, leather, and there's black pepper. The pepper's starting to pick up again. It's getting warm on the palate. I can really feel the pepper starting to kick in. But still, great cigar, still burning great, a lot of smoke, open draw. So to finish off, I want to discuss what you should avoid. So, you want to be avoiding sugar for one. That's going to be one of your biggest enemies going through this. When I would throw up the worst during healing was days that someone would make some desserts, or just you give in to your sweetness cravings, whatever it is. If you eat too much sugar in a day, you're going to be sick that night or in the morning if you're going through stomach erosion, and especially if you're going through serious stomach erosion. That is your absolute worst enemy. That's why even with the smoothies, you know, natural sugars unfortunately hurt you a lot the same as regular sugars if you're overdoing it. So you have to keep that to a minimum. Make sure that you're not putting all them sugars in your body. And you also want to avoid alcohol. Alcohol is going to destroy your stomach. You know, if you want to have a beer here and there, maybe a glass of wine once in a while, but man, I don't know if I would drink wine or anything. Don't drink liquors. Hard alcohols are going to hurt you real bad if you have stomach erosion. It's going to slow down your healing process very much. You know, it's unfortunate that stomach erosion doesn't have just a simple cure, and you know, it's a process to get it and get sick, and it's a huge process to heal from it as well. You really have to be willing to change your lifestyle and change your outlook on things and how you do things. For one, to change your diet and to change what you're putting in your body, and for two, to not feel stressed the same way, because if you stress, you're gonna hurt your stomach. The only way to actually heal, and I found out firsthand, is you have to remove stress. You have to find a way. Unfortunately, it may set your life back a little bit. You may have to give up a couple things for a while, but at the end of the day, it's about healing and getting better. And once you do that, once you feel strong and you've healed, if you want to go back and put yourself under stress and do those things, ease yourself into it and see how much you can handle. But be careful, because like me, I was good for 1.5 years, and for the last 2 months, my stomach has been really bad again. I've been vomiting again. I'm finding myself having to go back on more liquids. I can't eat solid foods like I could. I've had to go back to seafood, things like that. So be very careful. Ease yourself back into things. Don't think just because you feel better that things are better. Your stomach is a very complex, tricky thing, and if you're not absorbing properly, you're not digesting properly, and you put the wrong things down there, you're just going to continue to injure yourself and create more problems and more problems and more pain. So be very careful with feeling better and doing alcohol, sugars, things of that nature. And also processed foods and oils. I've mentioned it earlier, the canola oils, any cooking oils other than coconut oil, and processed foods, anything with GMOs, any of that stuff is gonna cause problems. Your body is not able to break things down like it normally should. You're not digesting and absorbing anything, so those foods don't have much in them anyways as far as nutrients and stuff. So not only, and it's hard for your body to break down processed food, so if you're putting that in there, not only are you already weakened and not able to break down the food, but you're not getting any of the nutrients out of it. You're most likely, I mean, for me, I would just end up throwing it back up, and I have a feeling a lot of people listening to this may end up having that same problem. So the best thing to do is just to not do it. Learn how to cut that stuff out. Boxed foods, anything like that, you gotta just cut that stuff out. Go for natural foods, healthy foods, things that are gonna give you at least what you can absorb. You're gonna get quality nutrients and quality out of that. You're not just gonna get the minimum of what's in it, and probably not anything because you can't absorb properly. The last couple things I want to mention as well, one of them is food, red meat. Stay away from red meat as much as possible. Go for the fish, the seafood. I don't advise chicken, but chicken and turkey are okay. Chicken, unfortunately, in our culture is raised with a lot of grain. They're meant to get fat really fast, so even if they're not raised with GMOs and all that, they're not healthy still. I find that chicken makes me sleepy. You know, when your stomach is compromised and you eat the wrong foods, it's going to make you sleepy. I find myself getting very sleepy after I eat certain foods because a compromised stomach, it takes so much energy to digest and absorb the nutrients. If with foods like that just aren't that valuable, it's going to make you tired. And if you're getting tired after you eat, you need to cut that food out. That food is not helping you. So you want to be aware of those type of things. And the last thing I want to say is be very careful about medications. Prescribed medications, over-the-counter medications. Anything that's hard on your stomach as far as medications is going to not allow you to heal. So if you can... And it may allow, okay, let me rephrase that. Anything that's hard on your stomach as far as medications is going to prolong healing. And it can prolong it very long. It can push it far, far out depending on how often you're taking that medication, what it's used for, how strong it is, if you know, certain medications are already hard on your stomach. So you have to be very, very careful about medications and be aware of what each thing that you're putting in your body's doing if you have stomach erosion. So we are getting down to the end here. The natural sweetness is gone. It's at the end here, it's pepper. Little bit of black pepper on the palate. Not too bad though. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna develop into. And then you have wood, leather, and there's like a natural tobacco flavor, but there's no more sweetness with it. But I can definitely still get some of that like tobacco-y goodness in there. And then, you know, the wood and the leather. When the nuttiness was in there for a little bit, it was very subtle. It's faded out now. But like I was saying before, I recommend this more to seasoned smokers than beginners, but I also think a beginner could very much enjoy this cigar as well. I give this cigar an 8 out of 10. It's definitely a good cigar for the price point. You're getting an amazing cigar for the price point. It's, you know, it was medium body in the beginning, but right now it's full body, so medium to full body. And overall, great stick. So if you have any questions or concerns, if you're going through stomach erosion, if you want to ask me anything about how I eat or what I do or brands that I buy or any advice that you want on more in depth on managing your symptoms, anything like that, please feel free to message me, comment. I'm always happy to help. You know, we have to, healing and things, we all got to work together. You can share your knowledge with people. If we work together as a group, as a whole, it's amazing what we can accomplish and how much you can help each other to move forward and progress. So guys, gals, thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe. We are going to be doing giveaways in the future. We're going to do all kinds of fun things moving forward. So please like and subscribe. Continue to watch the videos. Everybody be safe. Take care. Thank you for watching.